And next, we're going to welcome Diane Mohney, board member of the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers and Local 3. Also, she's been with she's also worked with U.S. Labor Against the War and is a board member of Philadelphia Coalition of Labor Union Women. Welcome, Diane.
There's at least one or two Clue sisters here in the audience, so I'm very happy to be here. It's really an honor. And I'm on the board of the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers Retirees. Just to make it clear, I wasn't a teacher, I was a school nurse. And this is a hard act to follow. I can't sing or dance. I don't have a video, but everybody before me has been very, very inspiring, and I really appreciate their remarks. It's also proud for me to be here on the campus that Paul Robeson attended. And I don't know if enough said. It's humbling for me just to walk and breathe some of the same air that he breathed. In Philadelphia, we have our job cut out for us right now. The Coalition of Labor Union Women is everywhere. We try to support our brothers and sisters in movements around the schools, which are under terrible attacks. Chanel's presentation much like what's happening in Philadelphia. Our schools are being turned over to corporate America. Children are being left behind right and left. Our politicians, our posterity is not going to look kindly on them. They're going to go down in history with the worst scoundrels that ever were. I won't probably be around to read that, but I feel confident that our children will. We're in the streets, and you can't hardly drive through Center City, Philadelphia, and not get stopped by a demonstration someplace these days. We don't have a school board anymore. We're taken over by a school reform commission, and there are just about daily demonstrations there. We have a long list of people who have gone to jail for education and other things. The Coalition of Labor Union Women has participated in these events. We have a really active chapter is what I'm trying to get across. And I think we're the largest in the United States, except I think Detroit might be larger than we are. We strive for unity among women, young and old women. We have a young women's committee so we can train younger women to come up and take our places. Those of us that are desperate to move on some days, to go home and have tea in the afternoon and not think about much else. But we're there for the long haul. We strive for unity among all workers, African American, Latino, immigrant, white, LGBTQ. We've been there for the Walmart struggle. Some of our little projects that we do among ourselves is support abused women. We have reproductive rights campaigns. Some of our union brothers get a little squirmy in their seats when we start using the language that we have to use when we talk about reproductive rights, but those are really important to women. You cannot support your family if you're barefoot and pregnant all the time. That's right. So we need birth control, we need treatment for things like cervical cancer, breast cancer. We need paid sick leave. We need maternity leave. We are the shame of the industrialized world. We've really gone backward in that. In World War II, there were child care centers were set up so women could go into the factories at work. When you came for your child in the evening, you not only picked up your children, you got a hot meal to take home so you didn't have to cook that night. My own children were in a daycare center that was founded during World War II, and the school district of Philadelphia has since decided that it's no longer necessary. It was a wonderful program with union teachers, a rare thing in child care. We try to unite the labor and the community. We are partners in coalitions for paid sick leave with Jobs with Justice. I don't know if people are familiar with that. We are embarking on a Good Neighbors campaign where we are trying to get nonprofits who own profit-producing businesses like the University of Pennsylvania, very expensive school, costs an arm and a leg to go there. They own hotels, they own laboratories that make money for them, and they don't pay taxes on that money. We don't have any grudges about, hospitals that spend all their money on patient care or, charities that give all their money to help people. But when you're making money, you really have an obligation to send that back to the people that you're in your community. I asked my question, where's the money right now? Well, Willie Sutton said it was in the banks. That's why he robbed them. And it's still in the banks. It's on Wall Street, and it's with the 1%. It's also in the war economy. The Coalition of Labor Union Women, being women, recognize that war means something to women, but it might not mean to men. Men, until recently, have been the ones to go off and fight wars, and it's a horrible, horrible thought to think about that. Especially, you're not defending your homeland, it's not an invasion. I always told my kids that I'll go to, if we're invaded, I'll go to the front line before I let you guys go to the front line. That's my personal feeling about it. Right now, we're sending our husbands, our sons, and even our daughters off to war. Some of these are parents. They're staying away from their families for a year at a time. And what is that going to do to these children that have essentially lost a parent for that length of time? And when my son was born, I thought, this sounds horrible. I thought, I might have to shoot this kid in the foot someday to keep him from going to war. And I had a daughter later, and it was probably would apply to her too. But it occurred to me, I do not want my children to go off to war and kill another mother's child, another woman's husband. The United States is not the country that I was told it was in school. I thought we were peace-loving growing up, but I saw a chart that somebody from U.S. Labor Against the War had done. We have invaded country after country after country for no good use. Our budget, our military budget is like, 25 times greater than the next 25 countries combined, and they're all our friends except, or considered our friends except for China. And we really, really need to attack this war budget. We need to turn the swords into plowshares. We need to create good jobs with that money. Green jobs that are going to rebuild our infrastructure, jobs that are going to provide child care, the kind of services that women need to be able to go out and work and provide for their families. I think, too, in looking at what's happening in the United States with our right to be in a union, that's a democratic right. It's a part of the Constitution. And I think we need to, as trade unionists, bring that home to people, that we have the right to assemble and we have the right to free speech, and the boss does not have a thing to say about it. We need to fund new energy, quit desecrating our environment. We all have to live here. We need to build the labor union here at home. We've had the tables turned up on us with the drive to organize the Nissan workers in Mississippi. Now some of the countries in the rest of the world that have had difficulty getting unions themselves are sending messages of support to these people for their right to have a trade union. The international labor movement is important to everybody in the world because the whole chain of production, transportation, we are all sisters and brothers in this. We are all the sisters and brothers of those people in Bangladesh that were making clothing for markets here in the United States. I'd like to end my remarks by saying if you're not a member of CLU, I hope you join it. We take men too. And if you have reproductive rights issues, I'm sure we'll be fair-handed with that too. So thank you again for having me, and thank everybody who have contributed to this.